Thank you for coming to my sessions. I'm Megumi Takeshita, Packet Otaku, Ikeri Network Service. Before my sessions, there are some notifications and supplemental informations. At first, there are over 100 milliseconds delay from here, Japan, to West Coast. For example, I try to ping from here, Kagoshima Prefecture, Japan, to Wireshark org to West Coast. It replies over 200 milliseconds, and internet connections may be unreliable during the sessions. So I created pre-recorded video sessions and playing the stuff from the States. Thank you for Angel-san, Natalia-san, and Sherry-san. And I of course attend my session online and react Q&A via Zoom and Discord. And next one is important. All supplemental PCAP files, batch files, command files, and other information is here. Automation tips and tricks using Wireshark TShark in Windows environment. I'm Megumi Takeshita, Ikeri Network Service, also one of contributors of Wireshark. For example, I translate Wireshark into Japanese. Topic 1. Capture packet with a capture driver in Windows 10 2020 updates. Capturing at both client servers is important, so capturing at both sides make me more information about debugging. And matching each packet by IP ID, IP identification field help us finding problem between client and servers. But we may not install Wireshark as well as capture drivers in enterprise environment. Not only client side, IS person do not want to add any programs, especially in Windows Server. For example, there are some sample packet client.pcapmg and server.pcapmg. At first, we can capture packets with netsh trace command before Windows 10 May 2020 update. The command we need administrative privilege to use netsh trace start at session name, scenario, global keywords, global name, and many options. You can set capture filter using netsh trace command. Adding capture interface to set capture interface, Ethernet address, Ethernet source address, Ethernet destination address, Ethernet type, Wi-Fi type, protocol, IPv4 address, IPv4 source address, IPv4 destination address. There are some other values to set capture filters. For example, if you want to grab Ikeri's internet traffic, Ikeri uses a global IPv4 address 180, 235, 36, 115. Let's try this command prompt with administrative privilege. netsh trace start capture equal yes and set capture filter like IPv4 dot address to filter global IPv4 address 180 to 135, 36, 115 and Ethernet type to capture only IPv4 traffic and set capture interface to interface name. I recommend to use friendly name. Friendly name is very easy to. And finally, set trace file options to set the trace file name. Please check the extensions. The file extension is ETL. Trace file is created with 112 ring buffer in default. So start netsh trace start and open website and stop capture with netsh trace stop. Let's try this. Open command prompt with administrator privilege and type netsh trace start capture equal yes and set capture filter IPv4 address equal 180 to 35, 36, 115 and set capture filter Ethernet type equal capture only IPv4 and set capture interface equal friendly name of your network card, and finally set trace file file name. This time I use a 5.etl and start. Open web page and check the sample page and stop capturing using netsh trace stop. To create the trace file, please note the file extension is etl. Maybe it may take some minutes to collect the data and create the etl file. Back to slides. ETL format is inconvenient to handle. You can open ETL file with Microsoft Message Analyzer, but Wireshark cannot handle ETL natively. Let's try this. Open Microsoft Message Analyzer, formerly known as Microsoft Network Monitor. Then choose File to quick open to file.etl files, and you can see each packet informations in trace file. And you can also set display filter like TCP.port equal 80. Then set apply to find request packet of HTTP. But we love Wireshark and we want to use Wireshark. So how about change format from ETL to PCAP? There are ETL to PCAP MG tools from Microsoft. Download zip file and extract project and open with Visual Studio and build file release and execute this program. You can change the file extension from ETL to PCAP MG. Let's try this. Change directory ETL to PCAP MG, source, release, and try to change format ETL to PCAP MG from file.etl at the same directory to file.pcapmg. This program changes format from ETL to pcapmg and it says converted 13 frames correctly. So let's open this file with Wireshark file.pcapmg. You can find 13 frames are correctly changed from ETL format to pcapmg correctly, and you can also find comment of each frame too. But there are surprising news this year. Microsoft quit Message Analyzer this year. You could open ETL extensions file by Microsoft Message Analyzer from Microsoft Network Monitor, but Microsoft stopped developing Message Analyzer, and it's surprising Microsoft recommends to use third-party network analyzer such as Wireshark in their blogs. Microsoft changed the stance of network analyzers, and pcapmg support starts from Windows 10 May 2020 updates. Big change towards pcapmg file environment, and Microsoft adds another tool, Packetmon, into Windows 10. Packetmon exe is a packet capture utilities and also one of alternatives of packet capture drivers such as WinPCAP and PCAP and so on. You can capture packets without installing capture driver and Wireshark. It is convenient for enterprise users. Of course, we need some administrator privilege. Packetmon is easy to use with filter option, compare option, reset option, start, stop, and format pcapmg options. So you can start, stop capturing, set filter to use filter, and change capture file format to pcapmg with pcapmg options. It's a common use of Packetmon. At first, you need to set capture filters. At first, you can set capture filter with packetmon filter command. Packetmon filter add. You can set name, MAC address, VLAN, IP, V4, V6, protocol numbers, and transport protocols such as TCP, UDP, ICMP version 6, and so on. And you can set the IP address and port numbers, and so on. For example, capture only my website. You can set capture filter like this. Packetmon filter add. Filter name is HTTP, and set D options to capture only IPv4, and set T options to capture transport protocol as TCP, and set IP address filter as my website global IP address, and set small p option to filter TCP port 80. You can also check your filter as packetmon filter list, and packetmon filter remove your filters. Let's try this. At first, we need to move desktop directories and try to set capture filter. Packetmon filter at filter name is HTTP, and at the option to capture only IPv4, and set transport option to capture only TCP, and set I option to capture only my website 180, 235, 36, 115, and set capture port as 80. And sorry, Japanese, it says the filter is successfully added. And you can also check packetmon filter list to check your filter is successfully added. Name is HTTP, type IPv4 TCP, and only capture my website. If you need to remove this, you can easily remove packetmon filter remove to remove your filters too. Then next, check interface and start capturing. In packetmon program uses small c option to set interface. You can set interface by interface ID. I recommend to just using index number, or name of interface, or just type all to capture all components, or just type NIX to capture all network interface card. How we can find our network interface ID? You can check your ID with packetmon component list command. For example, I typed packetmon component list and find my network interface card, and ID is this time is 5. And you can set small f options to set file name, small s option to set the maximum size of trace file, and if you snap some packet file, each packet size, you can set small p. This time is 0, means capture all frames. And in some cases, I recommend to set small l in real time. If we set small l real time, this program outputs the each trace file information to standard output. Finally, we can start capturing with packetmon with these options like this: packetmon start, small c to set component, etw to logging, small f to file name, small s to maximum size, small p to snap length. This time is no restrictions. Let's try this. Packetmon start. At first we need the packetmon component list to find packetmon component list to find your network interface card. In this case, I can find my network interface card uses ID 12 this time. So I use 12, Paketmon start, component number 12, ETW to login, set small f to trace file name is http.etl, and maximum file is 100 megabyte, and small p option to snaplen, this time is no limit, to set 0. It starts capturing. Sorry, some things in Japanese. Capture file name, log mode circulating. Maximum file size is 100 megabyte. If you want to stop this, you can type Paketmon stop to stop capturing. I try another options with small l real time. This returns actual packet information to standard output. For example, I open my website, http my website. So this tool returns trace file informations like TShark and other tools. My trace file change to Wireshark and open http.pkpng to check my trace file. I use call to open sample page of my website, so you can find my HTTP request and response in my trace. It works correctly. But please note, sometimes Paketmon driver may drop some packets. Finally, let's automate this process. First, Paketmon filter remove to remove all filters first, and add capture filter using Paketmon filter add to set capture filter as you like, and start capturing with Paketmon start with your component ETW, file name, and maximum file size and snap length, and test web access using curl, and then stop capturing and change format from ETL to pkpng. Let's try this. Batch file, like type Paketmon batch files, Paketmon stop, and filter remove, and add capture filters and start capturing, and access 10 times with my homepage, and stop capturing and change format. Finally, open this trace file with Wireshark. Let's try this. Paketmon batch, set capture filters, and with Wireshark. Here comes brand new trace files to access my website. Nice. Let's go on next topics. Automate DHCP troubleshooting. Sometimes you need to check your DHCP configurations. In this case, we use replay test of DHCP to automate DHCP troubleshooting. In this case, we need to send DHCP discover broadcast at get offer packet from DHCP servers and send DHCP request and get DHCP ACK to investigate DHCP problems. It's a kind of replay test in network troubleshooting. TShark is very useful for automation to capture, filter, dissect, and save trace file in batch process. Let's open DHCP pkpng and check typical DHCP communications. At first, client send DHCP discover broadcast, and DHCP server send back with offer. Then, client sends DHCP request to get new IP address. And finally, DHCP server returns DHCP ACK with new DHCP configurations. Let's go back and go on next slide. TShark is a nice tool for replying network traffic. TShark is a CLI alternative of Megumi Wireshark, especially for simple testing. You may not choose interface with large D device options to find your interface index numbers. And you can set capture filters in libpcap format. In this case, we need to grab UDP 67 and 68. So we set small f UDP port 67 or UDP port 68. And if you test automatically, I recommend to use small a options. Small a means auto stop option to finish capturing. This time I stop over 10 seconds or after collecting 100 packets. Command is here, TShark small I set interface ID to small f to set capture filters and stop options duration 10 seconds or another conditions after capturing 100 packets. And finally, add more double to write DHCP PFMG. TShark at first, TShark /d to find interface index name. My friendly name of card is ETH, so interface index is 1. Next, TShark interface index is 1 and set capture filter UDP port 67 or UDP port 68 and set auto stop options with duration 10 seconds and another conditions to stop capturing after capture 100 packets and writing DHCP.pcapng. pcapng. It starts capturing when you capture 100 packets or just after 10 seconds. Capturing is stopped automatically. Let's go back. We need to replay test. To start automation testing, we need to pick up field values from each packet to investigate DHCP servers. Let's try this. Open DHCP ACF server ID. The field name of Wireshark display filter is dhcp.option.dhcp_server_id. This time is dhcp.options.ip address this time. Subnet mask is dhcp.option.subnet_mask. Router is dhcp.option.routers. And domain name server has dhcp.options.domain under name under servers. It's important because we use this information in TShark command. Let's go back to slides. Set display filters and pick up field values from the DHCP packet. In actual, we use TShark with large T fields option to pick up field values and set small a to set these field name. You can test TShark work correctly with ipconfig, release and renew. At first, let's start testing. I execute TShark command. TShark works in 10 seconds to collect DHCP informations and pick up DHCP configurations and show on standard output. In this case, there are no packets, so I opened another Windows and execute this command again with ipconfig renew options. Start capturing and I execute ipconfig renew with other Windows. TShark capture DHCP information and DHCP server ID and release times and subnet mask, routers and domain name servers, and there are no informations, but if there are linear time value that displays after DNS servers. To start some jobs and ampersand as the last of command. When I put start, Windows to open new dialog as background jobs, and we can use another command on this command prompt. Let's try this. And I can use ipconfig, renew, to get a new IP address using DHCP protocols. Start tasks and end with ampersand means run jobs in new Windows as background. Then ipconfig release and renew to create DHCP packet. So you can collect information as well as create trace file like this. It's so nice because just running batch task, we can do replay test of the check DHCP configurations. There may be log DHCP servers such as mobile Wi-Fi access points connected into your company LAN. We can automate replay and new DHCP transactions, picking up debugging information and create trace file to investigate in details. Let's start batch jobs to check DHCP server settings. Start batch files and get DHCP server information as the background, and we can also pick up trace files of DHCP to investigate in details. Top 10 S organization list. And sometimes we need to collect Geo-IP information. That means country name, longitude, latitude, organization name combined with your IP address. Let's try. Finding your user trends is important to realize corporate network traffic. Wireshark supports Geo-IP database. Formerly, Wireshark uses old-style Max-Mind Geo-IP database. Extension is .dat. Now, Wireshark uses new Max-Mind database. Extension is MMDB format. TShark and bash combinations are good for creating top list from trace file. At first, we need to understand Max-Mind database. Geo-IP legacy database will be ended in May 2020. And now Wireshark 3 uses Geo-IP 2 Max-Mind database format. Nowadays, we need to create Max-Mind account at first. Then go to download page of Geo-IP 2 and Geo-IP legacy database page to download MMDB file. And unzip MMDB files, copy them in some locations. I recommend in personal configurations such as see user's username, update roaming Wireshark is default profile locations. In this, created Geo-IP folders and put these MMDB files. And next, set Max-Mind database directories in name resolution preference in Wireshark. I also recommend to restart Wireshark to enable Geo-IP settings. In this case, we use runtime.pkapmg in material, including 10,000 packets. Open this trace file with TShark to pick up AS organizations in each packet. Use this large T field and small e field name. Redirect this information to organization.txt. Let's wait for a while. Open Wireshark runtime.pkapmg. It contains 10,000 packets in this file. Employee access internet in runtime. And I already set Geo-IP configurations, so please check IP headers. And for example, check IP destination address is global IP, means United States, and organizations is Microsoft. It is very good function to understand the user trends which organizations user access. So you can also get display filter strings from Wireshark status bar. Wireshark says Geo-IP S organizations is source or destinations S organization field is ip.geoip.org. Let's go back to slides. If we use TShark to get these fields, TShark with small r runtime.pkmg and use large T fields option to get field, and at small e ip.geoip.org redirect this information to organization text. It may work. Try this. TShark read runtime pkmg. It contains tons of frames, 10,000 frames. So I set large T fields and get ip.geoip.org. Oh, no returns. Let's go back to slides. Unfortunately, there is a bug. It's an old bug 14691. TShark does not print Geo-IP informations. Unfortunately, TShark with read runtime pkmg to pick up large T fields and set small a to ip.geoip.source.org does not work. Now, Wireshark changed to use MMDB resolve program to asynchronous accommodations between packet and Geo-IP. You may realize in Wireshark 3 uses MMDB resolve program to get asynchronous and active update of DNS Geo-IP things. So you can see these informations in Wireshark, but cannot in TShark for now. MMDB resolve exe is a utility with Wireshark. It's relatively new utilities. The utility is IPv4 and IPv6 address and print their IP geolocation information. The usage is MMDB resolve small f maximind database files. If we input some IP address, it returns the Geo-IP information as false. Let's try this. And try MMDB resolve. And set the maximind database file locations. Users, username, updater, roaming, Wireshark, and Geo-IP, and maximind write to S number maximind database. For example, I try echo 1.1.1.1 type MMDB resolve program. MMDB resolve returns organization information, this time Cloudflare, contents delivery network, and S numbers combined with IP address 1.1.1.1. Let's go back to slides. In this case, if we need to get Geo-IP information such as S numbers, S organization, country, and so on, we use MMDB resolve program to pick up autonomous system organizations and other values in maximind database. Step 1. Use TShark to create source IP address list. For translating maximind database, for searching maximind database, like TShark small r, runtime pkmg, large T fields, and pick up ip.source address. Step 2. Use pipe to send source IP address to MMDB resolve using pipe to MMDB resolve and small f option to set the locations of MMDB files. If you get S number or organization, you may use GeoWrite to SN. If you need country, you set the GeoWrite to country.mmdb. Finally, use pipe to filter autonomous system organizations. Pipe find autonomous system organizations. Maybe 10,000 packets. So in my environment, it took over 15 minutes. Let's try this. At first, just get IP source address, TShark, read, pcap files, and use fields, IP source address. It is very TShark, har, pcap file, large T, fields, and source address. It is very easy and common things. And then redirect to some locations. IP source list .text or some places. Then convert them into or searching them using Geo-IP. Or just pipe to output source address to MMDB resolve F the locations of maximize database, see users, username, updater, roaming, Wireshark, Geo-IP, and GeoWrite has numbers. Let's try this. It go back IP address and change each IP address into their organization like this. We filter these informations using autonomous system organization. We can get organization list of 10,000 packets like this. It may take over 15 minutes. So go back to slides. Redirect them into S.org text using redirect to file name. And finally, create top 10 list. It's common in bash styles. Cat S.org text. It's huge files and sort alphabetically and you need to count duplicates and sort reverse numerically. It's many. So pick up top 10 list like this. Final topic is create host-based packet graph. One may use statics and IO graph in Wireshark GUI. It is the easiest way, but not good for some batch tasks. The other may use TShark to create CSV files like TShark R, pcap file, and large T fields, and small e to pick up frame.time and IP source address and frame length and redirect them to CSV files. TShark runtime pcap to fields and pick up IP source address. Frame time and IP source address and frame length, and like this we got the frame time, source IP address, and frame length. In this case we use comma to get the result. Frame time, IP address, source IP address, comma, frame length. Create CSV file by TShark. You type TShark R large pickup energy files and large T fields and pick up small e frame.time, IP.source, and small e with frame.frame to pick up time, source address, frame length to CSV files. It returns capture time, source IP address, and frame size in a line. And we can change the separator by large E separator options. TShark uses a configuration profile that Wireshark used right before. Final settings comes in TShark. Wireshark and TShark have many time display format, and we can change its appearance. It is good, but sometimes it is not convenient in some locations, especially we are in Japan. So the time format box, it's not good for creating CSV files. Command again. Time returns this not good for graph creations. How we can do it? I recommend some ideas using post dissectors of Lua script. Post dissector is some kind of dissector. Is correct used for post dissector is adding some original informations in trace file, adding their own protocol fields or some additional informations. But we just use Lua script to change field values easily. Using Lua script is a way to change field values of packets. Post dissector is used for adding the original dissection values of protocols in usual. But we can use post dissector for just scanning packet informations because we use this transform the time display format. We create post dissectors as modified date.lua. At first, this is comment register protocol. Local myproto is protocol object. Protocol name is myproto and detailed explanation is my protocols. And register field like local IP and source field is new field object of IP.source, and frame length field is field.new frame.length registers IP source address and frame length fields of the protocols. It's just declarations and dissection process functions is here. Right use of this is post dissections, but we use just for pointing values. Function myproto dissector is a post dissector, and parameter is buffers and packet info parameters and tree. And we change field value format into our convenient styles using Lua APIs. So create local time variables and set values using Lua API using os.rate and set the format. The format is year/month/day space hour colon minutes colon seconds and comma to get parameters from pinfo packet info dot their field of absolute time of frame captures. And like this, local IP source means IP source field value from the fields of the protocol, and local frame length is the same as frame length field from protocols, and just print this to standard output. Print time, it contains line feed, print IP source and return line feed, and print frame length, and I print the end of record with comma, and end to finish declarations of post dissectors. Finally, I add the post dissectors as my protocols. It is not so difficult Lua script. We can just 15 lines, register protocols and register fields. You may find it's a common display filter strings in IP source and frame length, and then Wireshark TShark read trace files. Dissector process scans all frames, so add function myproto.dissectors and parameter contains p-info, that means packet informations. So this line is so important, getting parameter p-info that correct each frames and get absolute time of packet captures and change format, year, month, date, space, hour, colon, minutes, colon, seconds, using Lua API. Just get the same information of IP source and frame length, and then just print them. In Lua, point contains line feed, so show time, line feed, IP source, line feed, and frame length, line feed. And then finish the record with comma, register and the post dissector to set the post dissectors like this. Go back to slides, create modify data.rules and execute them with TShark. TShark set large X options and set Lua under script colon script name. This time is modify date Lua. And I recommend to set the quiet options because without this, TShark returns the packet informations, each lines of each packet. So set quiet options and read runtime frequency. Large X Lua script means existing specified Lua script, and small q means quiet output. Let's try this. Type modify date.lua and check the Lua script as follows. And TShark read pcap files and large X to set Lua under script colon my script name modify date Lua and quiet options. It returns just printing these informations. Show the adequate styles of date as year / month / date space hour colon minutes colon seconds, return and source IP address and frame length, and that end record with comma. Go back to slides. It is not CSV file. We need to replace line feed with comma. So this time we also use bash power to change the text format. So let's go on. Redirect and replace characters. At first, we use TShark with large X Lua script. We use modify date.lua and set quiet options, and read runtime frequency. It contains 10,000 packets to temp text. I think it also takes 15 minutes or more. Then open bash and use tr to replace characters by character. At first, change character to line feed, catch returns and line feed with space. Then change character with comma with line feed. Let's try this. Using TShark and do a command like this. I omit this because it takes over 15 minutes. So start bash and word count, lines, temp text. So change characters, catch returns, and line feed. Because Windows uses CRF code and change space by each characters. Input temp text. It changes all catch return and line feed characters with space. Then type, change characters, comma, with line feed. It returns good styles, date, space, source IP address, and frame length. Good. It's time to use Excel and other nice visualization tools such as Splunk and Elasticsearch, Kibana, and so on. Thank you for attending. Thank you again for your attending. Don't forget to fill out the survey